All right, guys, it's a Thou Shalt Eat Your Way Out Friday. I hope everybody has had a good week, and I saved the best for the end of the week. I'm not going to do any videos on the weekend, so I saved the best for last. Today, I'm talking to wives. And even if you're not like officially legally married, because I know that's just a piece of paper, I'm talking to wives and significant others. If you're a wife or if you're wifey, I'm talking to you today. And I want y'all to understand that y'all are super important in this thou shalt eat your way out battle that we're trying to fight. Especially if you go back to the beginning of the week and you watch the video when I talk to the men. Most of us are lost without our wives or our significant others pointing us in the right direction. So just to tell you a little bit of my story, I've been married for like 13 years. I've been with my wife for like 24 years. And she's been trying to get me to go plant-based for years. We've tried it and it's always failed because of me. Because I wanted my steak on Sunday. I wanted my pizza. I wanted the foods that I wanted. And I thought I had it under control. I thought that I could eat my stuff and then go play flag football, go play basketball, go to the gym, and I would be okay. But the bottom line is eventually you eat yourself into a maze that you can't get out, that no Saturday morning basketball or football or whatever is going to eat yourself out of. So when I think of wives, I think of one of my favorite people of all time. I think of Phylicia Rashad. I think of her in her role as Claire Huxtable. And I think about how she used to always try to get Heathcliff to stop eating those hoagies and salty foods and all that stuff. And that's really the role that you guys play, because to be honest, most of the wives, and I work with real life wives, most of y'all are eating pretty well. I'm sure some of you have some of the same problems we have. My wife goes through her issues sometimes, but generally speaking, it's easier to get the wives to eat right than it is to get the husbands. And I want you guys to understand that I'm with you. And I wrote this book partially with you in mind. So if you're really having a hard time with your husband, with the significant other in your life, and you want to come at them in a different way, this is the perfect book for them. And it's really the perfect book for you, because sometimes wives don't know exactly what to tell their husband to eat, or they go so far left that their husband or their significant other is like, nah, I can't eat that. So if you think back on what I was talking about with Heathcliff Huxtable and Claire Huxtable, she used to have him trying to eat salads and rice cakes and no dressing and stuff like that. That's in real life, that's not going to work for a long time. And maybe that's why we see throughout that show that he always went back and snuck stuff. That's not going to work. What I have in that book will work. When you tell your significant other, or when you tell yourself, and I don't want to discount you guys like I'm just talking about you helping your husband or significant other as if you guys are, insignificant. But I'm talking this way because I've watched these wives outlive their husbands by 10 years. And by helping him, in essence, I'm helping you. Because I watched how these lives change after these wives become widows. I watch how the wives can actually survive, and they really don't eat themselves too deep in, and they generally don't end up with these diseases that are killing us based off of our food consumption. So I'm not trying to discount you guys, but what I am telling you is that you can't come at your significant other with rice cakes and salads and stuff like that. You say, hey, I'm gonna make a bacon cheeseburger pizza tonight. That's going to perk everybody up. That's going to perk your kids up. That's going to perk your husband up. And everybody's going to be excited about that. And when you make it and it actually tastes good, and then afterwards you say, that was a vegan pizza, or that was a plant-based pizza that's healthier for you, that's going to help your cholesterol go down. It's going to help your blood pressure go down. It's going to help your bowels move more. Then it's like, oh, wow, you gave me something that actually tastes good and is good for me. When you tell your significant other or your family, for all you mothers and wives out there, when you tell your family, hey, I'm going to make some oatmeal cookies, or I'm going to make what's the one we get? I'm drawing a blank right now. It's a bread, something streusel bread cobbler or whatever we make. My wife makes. It's my favorite dessert in the world. I don't know why I can't think of it. Banana bread cobbler is what it is. You tell your family, I'm gonna make a banana bread cobbler and we're gonna have it with ice cream. Everybody's gonna perk up. And then after they've eaten it and they've asked for seconds and thirds, you say, that was plant-based. And that's gonna make everybody healthier. And that's gonna help everybody go to the bathroom more. It's gonna make everybody's lactose intolerant systems be non-existent because there was no lactose. So for you wives, for you mothers, for you, basically you guys are the head of household. I know my wife is in a lot of ways. I know when we're really moving like a well-oiled machine, she's the one that's gonna be preparing the meals and the dinners and kind of pushing us in the direction we need to go. So for all you guys, I want you to know that this book, this Thou Shalt Eat Your Way Out book, is for you. I got recipes in there. I got cookbooks that I recommend in there. I got all the things that'll take your husband or significant other or even your kids, because all this stuff is approved by me. It's approved by my kids. It's approved by my wife. So we've tested all this stuff, and we were the traditional family. In fact, I was more than a traditional guy. I was eating way too much steak, way too much pizza, way too many cheesesteaks. My kids were burgers, chicken fingers, and pizza kids before we transitioned over to this. So it's not like we were born into this. It's not like our genetic predisposition is to just go towards plant-based items and salads. We came probably from where you are. Whatever you're going to eat tonight, it's probably something that we used to eat. And what I'm telling you is the stuff that I put in this book, the principles I laid out in this book, the stuff I'm talking about in this book changed us and put us in a different space so that everybody's healthier. For you moms out there, I just looked at some old pictures of my family, and I talked about my son the other day and talked about him having a six-pack. But I looked back to some old pictures when he was like 4 or 5, when we were still eating a traditional diet, and I said, wow, he was actually starting to look like I did when I was younger. His cheeks were fatter. He had a little belly on him. All those things were there, and I didn't even remember that part. But now I look at him and I see he totally made a left turn, totally looks different than I did as a child. So wives, mothers, you guys can make a huge effect on your family with this book. So I want y'all to go to 65book.com. It's $14.99. I got free shipping to the end of the year. All you got to do is put in the coupon code LOVE. So you get that at 65book.com. You can keep checking these videos on 65book.com on Facebook, Dr. Petty 65 on Instagram. And if you guys had any questions, especially the wives out there who just, I really get this a lot. I get a lot of questions from wives who are basically trying to save their husbands. drpetty65@gmail.com. Spell out the doctor, put the number 65 on it, and ask me whatever questions you have. Do it before it's too late. I got a patient right now whose wife is about to go out of town, and he just fell yesterday. This guy is like diabetic. He's got an amputation. He's overweight. He's got a whole bunch of other issues, and he fell, and his wife is like, well, I still got to take my trip. What you're going to run into if you don't really do the things that you need to do to get your significant other or your husband on track is later in life, when you guys want to enjoy it and have vacations and go different places, you're going to have to make the decision of not doing those things or doing those things on your own. This woman took the decision and said, you know what, I'll just go with my girlfriend, or I think she's going with her sister. I'll just go with my sister. And in fact, her sister's husband died. So you got a sister whose husband died, and the other sister whose husband is basically, he's not dead, but he's not living anymore. He can't get out of the house. He's homebound. He can't do anything. So you put yourself in that situation where you think you're going to live out the rest of your days and walk in the sunset with your significant other or your husband, and it's not going to happen unless they eat their way out. If they don't eat their way out, I guarantee you they're going to be homebound. They're going to have heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and all those problems are going to have them sitting in the house, and you will probably still be healthy, and then eventually they die and you become a widow, and then life changes real significantly. I know that sounds dreary and morbid, but it's the actual truth because I see it every day. So I just want to get that point across to the wives and the significant others out there, and I implore you to get this book today. Help it change it'll help you change your family, your significant other, and generations to come. All right? God bless.